A French book, La Vérité Interdite, discloses that Taliban representatives often sat in on the meetings. U.S. is going to the Taliban, get this, and says, we're going to bomb you to smithereens in October. Could we call that provocation? Historically, there is a model. Franklin Roosevelt shut off the Japanese from oil supplies in the late 30s and early 40s to provoke them into attacking Pearl Harbor. Sources: The Guardian, September 22nd, the BBC, September 18th, and the Interpress News Service in Pakistan, November 16th. Summer 2001, according to a September 26th story in Britain's The Guardian, correspondent David Lee reported that U.S. Department of Defense official Jeffrey Starr visited Tajikistan in January. The Guardian's Felicity Lawrence established that U.S. Rangers were training special troops in Kyrgyzstan at that time. And there were unconfirmed reports that Tajik and Uzbek special troops were training in Alaska and Montana. Summer 2001, Pakistani ISI chief General Mahmoud, remember the guy I talked about, the guy that has to be approved by the CIA director by treaty? You're going to love this. Pakistani ISI chief General Mahmoud orders an aide to wire transfer $100,000 to Mohammed Atta, the lead hijacker. Who was, according to the FBI, the lead terrorist in the suicide hijackings. Mahmoud recently resigned after the transfer was disclosed in India and confirmed by the FBI. Source: The Times of India, October 11th. Our allies wiring $100,000 to the lead hijacker before the attacks. Summer 2001, an Iranian man phones the U.S. law enforcement to warn of an imminent attack on the World Trade Center in the week of September the 9th. World Trade Center, September the 9th. German police confirmed the calls but state the U.S. Secret Service would not reveal any information. I got this from the German news agency Online, i.e. September 14th, 2001. August 2001. The FBI arrests an Islamic militant linked to bin Laden in Boston. French intelligence sources confirm the man is a key member of bin Laden's network, and the FBI learns that he has been taking flying lessons in Boston. At the time of his arrest in Boston, where two of the planes are hijacked, the man is in possession of technical information on Boeing aircraft and flight manuals. Reuters, September 13th. Summer 2001, Russian intelligence notifies the CIA that 25 terrorist pilots have been specifically training for suicide missions. This is reported in the Russian press, and I have one of my sources, I have several sources who are former CIA officers, translated the article for me. July 4th through 14th, Osama bin Laden receives treatments for kidney disease at the American hospital in Dubai and meets with the CIA official who returns to CIA headquarters on July 15th. This is the guy who blew up the Cole and the embassies that Bill Clinton signed an order it's okay to execute. He gets treatment at an American hospital in Dubai and flies out on a private plane. Oliver North in the 80s, Oliver North is one of my least favorite people, but he sent Navy planes to track down terrorists on the Achille Lauro. The moment bin Laden entered international airspace, he would have been fair game. The source for this story is Le Figaro, French newspaper, October 31st. Now, I got to throw in a caveat here. Le Figaro is owned by the Carlyle Group. These guys can't control everybody, okay? And they can't control reporters. Le Figaro was emphatic that they had confirmed the details of the story. The CIA immediately came out with an adamant denial, but the CIA never lies. So did some people at the hospital. But you don't have to take this story as all or everything. But Le Figaro has not retracted the story. August 2001, Russian President Vladimir Putin orders Russian intelligence to warn the U.S. government in the strongest possible terms of imminent attacks on airports and government buildings. I watched it on MSNBC on September the 15th. August-September 2001, the Dow Jones Industrial Average drops nearly 900 points in the 3 weeks prior to the attack. A major stock market crash is imminent. September 3 through 10, MSNBC reports on September 16th that a caller to the Cayman Islands, to a Cayman Islands radio talk show, gave several warnings of an imminent attack on the U.S. by bin Laden in the week prior to 9/11. These are just some of the advance warning bits that we have. Now, September 1 through 10. Some 25,000 British troops, the largest British naval armada since the Falkland Island War. It's not Essential Harvest, it's called Swift Sword. An operation in the planning for 4 years, are set to deploy to Oman in the week before the September 11th attacks. It takes years to plan this kind of a deployment. And yet the British government had been planning it for 4 years. After the attack on the 11th, there was a slight hiccup. They waited, but the deployment went ahead as scheduled, supposedly to support the U.S. But you have to understand, I don't know how many veterans we have in this room, but you have to understand that it takes months and months and months to deploy these kinds of personnel, yet they're already set to go to Oman. At the same time, 2 U.S. aircraft carrier battle groups happen to be rendezvousing off the Pakistani coast. This is not a normal deployment. The Pakistani coast is not the Persian Gulf, it's the Arabian Sea. Yet we have 2 aircraft carrier battle groups off the Pakistani coast, and at the same time, some 17,000 U.S. troops joined more than 23,000 NATO troops for Operation Bright Star in Egypt. Fully deployed, combat ready, locked and loaded. All before September the 11th. Is this suspicious? I think so. September 6th through 7th. We have the 4,744 put options on United Airlines, CIA monitoring stock trading in real time. September 10th, 4,500 put options are purchased on American. September 6th through the 11th, no other airlines show any similar trading patterns to those experienced by UAL and American. The put option purchases on both airlines were 600% above normal. September 6th through 10th, put options on Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, AXA Reinsurance, and Munich Re. It has been documented, and I talked about this through the Promise software, that intelligence agencies routinely track the stock trading. And I'll tell you what I think, an opinion here, happened, is that someone at CIA told the head of A.B. Brown, and the head of A.B. Brown decided to make himself a little money on the side, and he got caught because the stock market was shut down because, well, we'll come to that in a second. General Mahmoud of the ISI, the guy that wired $100,000 to Mohammed Atta, the guy that had to be approved by the CIA, happened to be in Washington on September the 11th. He had arrived the week before. I think he was discussing war plans. That's from MSNBC. September the 11th. For 35 minutes from 8:15 a.m. until 9:05 a.m. with it widely known to the FAA and the military that 4 planes had been simultaneously hijacked and taken off course. No one notifies the President of the United States. It is not until 9:30 that any Air Force planes are scrambled to intercept, but by then it is too late. This means that the National Command Authority waited for 75 minutes before scrambling aircraft, even though it was known that 4 simultaneous hijackings had occurred, an event that has never happened in history. Sources: CNN, ABC, MSNBC, the Los Angeles Times, and the New York Times. And if you go to my website, you will see the beginning of a fabulous series of articles out of Canada by 2 writers, Ilarion Bykoff and Jared Israel. Their website is The Emperor's New Clothes. You'll find all the links from my website, all these other sites. They've established clearly, using documents that have now been taken down off of U.S. Air Force websites, that it is a matter of routine policy on the FAA and the U.S. Air Force to scramble a jet the instant any airliner is hijacked without waiting for an order from the President.
What does that mean, scramble? I don't know, sorry.
You put them up in the air and make them go intercept the jet, not shoot it down, but you put a fighter aircraft in the airspace with the hijacked airliner. It's FAA routine procedure. It doesn't require an order from the President of the United States. Remember Payne Stewart? Remember his airplane? Remember it